So today we are back working on the Trans Am. Finally. I honestly can't believe it. So first we gotta make some space, get the Chrysler out of here. Trans Am inside because it's a little rainy and crappy out. And we'll start getting it back together. Now's as good a time as any to do a water check. It has been raining. I'm not too concerned about it because we're not swimming right now and we're sitting in the car, so that's good enough for me. So this is what I got for the Speedo. This came with the PSI harness that I'm using for the engine. And it's just, you know, one of these standard Dakota Digital boxes. I had one of these in my Camaro years ago. And pretty much this is gonna go in line with the OBD port. We'll plug this into there. It's like a pass-through, so we'll still have the port open. So we can plug in, you know, a scanner or something to tune it. And from there, we could set this to actually get the speed on the dash to be accurate. So this is basically what we're looking at. I got that plugged into the box, plugged into the end of that OBD cable. Then there's the pass-through, just plugs right into the OBD, and we still have a port available. I didn't even realize this is gonna do the Tach too. So I just gotta give this thing ground ignition power, and then we can output Tach straight up to our cluster and the Speedo, and then just calibrate it, and that should be everything as far as the engine stuff goes. All right, so I got ignition power and our ground ran. The ground I just have going right to the frame of the I wouldn't say truck, the frame of the car with a self-tapper screw through that brown wire. And then the red, on the third gens here, you got on the fuse box at the bottom left-hand corner, there's a spot that has ignition power. So you'll see we have two spots here that, it's pretty much like a spade terminal with a lock on it, the factory connector. I'm just gonna slip this into here, clip this back up, and then once the panel's back on here, these wires will be rolled up and that should be fine. Let's just go ahead and see if this actually turns on. And we're looking good. All right, so I pulled the cluster out. Wasn't really anything holding it in anyway, because I don't think I ever fully put it back. But take a look at this diagram. Now my car's an 86. You could find these all online if you just Google your year with like instrument cluster diagram or wiring diagram, something like that, and you'll get one of these for your specific year. But this is for 86, and I think it might be 87 up. I can't tell you for sure though. And if you look here, it tells you everything, what all of the pins do. And this is for the back of the cluster. So we're gonna want connector 1. So that's this lower one here. Connector 1, connector 2, and this is looking at the back of the cluster. So if you see here, tachometer is gonna be number 1 on connector 1. So that's gonna be this lower right one right there. That's gonna be our tach input to the gauge. And then speedometer is right above it at number 14 on connector 1. And remember, this is the back of the cluster. So when this goes in, those two wires are gonna be right here. Connector 1 is the bottom one. Tach is this white wire. And then right above it, the green is the Speedo. And all I'm gonna do is snip both of these here. Same thing I did for the check engine light. And then we're gonna run a wire from speed on the box into the back of this connector on green, and the same for the Tach, from Tach on the box into the back of this connector there. And that's gonna send the speed and Tach signals from that box into the cluster. All right, there we go. I got the wires soldered, heat shrinked, extended. Let's just pop the cluster and see what we got. Oh, here goes nothing. Yes! Actually looks like it might be accurate too. and we have Speedo. Yeah, so this said once you're in Speedo calibration mode, it's supposed to output a 60 mile/hour signal. And you can see we are at almost 140, so that's not ideal. But if we come in here and we press this button, it's gonna cycle, and we should be able to get it closer to where we need to be. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so if you hold this button down on adjust, it slowly kind of sweeps. That's pretty damn close. That's right on the money. All right, so I'm just gonna use my speedometer app. We got Tach. Start rolling, see if we get anything. But I'm gonna use my GPS speedometer app just to see, you know, compare the two, see how close we are. The Speedo's moving. We have 10 miles an hour. Or that's 7. This car also has no wiper blades, which is absolutely terrifying. However, we're at 20 miles an hour, 22. The gauge is reading exactly 20. That's it. I don't even need to hit it with the laptop. I still got to get it on the highway, which I can't do because I can't see anything. It's getting, this is absolutely frightening. Here we go. I forgot I still didn't put the bolts back in the steering column either, because I had to loosen them to take the cluster out. Getting hard to see again. Oh boy. So for the most part, we have an interior now. This is actually the last panel I got to install, minus the little trim plate that goes underneath the glove box pouch thing. I don't know where it is. It's probably buried in this mess somewhere. But that's the only piece I need. I ended up ordering one on eBay for like 20 bucks. But before I can put this door panel on, we got to vacate our guests, evict our guests. Yeah. Ooh, there are a lot of turds in there. Well, absolutely none of my clips on this door seem to line up. And I think I remember, I don't even know if I test fitted this side. I just did like a mirror copy of the other door, which is probably why. How crazy is it to think that two doors would be exactly the same, coming from an 80s GM, or probably any GM product. None of these clips, all these clips are off by at least like a half inch. So I'm just going around with a Sharpie. I am just going to re-drill new holes. I'm also wondering, I wonder if this this thing being all wacky. Oh. Oh, what do you know? They line up now. I retract my statement about GM products. Look at that. It's almost like I knew what I was doing. Yes. Look at that. I mean, come on, unless you're like a third gen nerd, like, those look like they would come in the car. I am super happy with the way they came out. Gotta clean the armrests up a little bit, but that looks incredible. And this is coming from a guy who can barely recover a headliner. Like, that's how easy these door panels are. They're just flat pieces of cardboard. Anybody could do it. If you want to keep it even super simple, you can even just get rid of the trim and just lay a piece of vinyl or whatever over the whole door, and then bam, you have a brand new freaking door panel. But this looks great. We're pretty much there. I got that piece of trim coming in. Let's go ahead and start messing around with some accessories, shall we? All right, well, first of all, these aren't really accessories, but they are nice new pieces that need to go in. I got brand new sun visors and brand new sail panels. This is a kit I got from Hawks, once again, years ago. Ooh, look at those. Nice and fresh. These look like they could have probably done without sitting inside a box for the past 3 to 4 years, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. Well, it appears I wasn't filming, and everything I just said, yeah, I wasn't filming. I got that one in. Pretty much the screws I had, I thought were too short, because when you screw these in, you're supposed to put them through, goes through the plastic panel and then into the body of the car. I managed to actually get it in. It's something you gotta know. When these cars are put together, once again, all this stuff is screwed in with self-tapping screws, so get it where it looks good and just remake your own hole, because you're gonna drive yourself crazy otherwise. Also, I'm missing one of the pins for the seat, because this car has the split folding seat. These seats also, I didn't actually mention it, I got out of a 4th gen years ago for like 200 bucks on Facebook Marketplace. I still have the original seats for this car, and I do want to put them in and reupholster them at some point. The problem is I haven't been able to find foam for the driver's seat, because the foam is completely just gone. Even these seats are pretty flat on the driver's side. So once I find like a good source for 4th gen seat foam, or the original 3rd gen seats that are in this car, then I'm going to reupholster them, possibly in gray leather, I'm not sure yet, and put them back in the car. But they are going to make their way back in this car at some point. I just got to find the materials, and yeah, I got to find, or at least order, another pin for that. So another accessory I picked up are these T-top shades. They're just like pieces of cardboard that are coated in upholstery. It's that simple. They just sit between the trim of the T-top where the latch is, and then there's some Velcro that you can stick them to the window. And they're just there to keep the friggin' sun out, which they work incredibly well. This is my first T-top car. I didn't realize how hot these cars actually get, especially if you don't have working AC. That's a nice way to break a T-top. And there we go. We now have essentially a full headliner. It's gonna be a hell of a lot better than just sitting in a freaking greenhouse. I also got new visor. What the hell you want to call them? Oh, actually, you know, I think these are supposed to be curved because of the... That makes sense. They're curved because of the T-top. This car never had sun visors in it. I did not know that. But I got the new hinges from Hawks. Here we go. Come on. Look at that, man. Look friggin' like a brand new car up there. I still got to get a bulb for the dome light. Next accessory. These are nice. Woo! Trans Am floor mats. Something I noticed. The carpet dye I used when I sprayed the back carpets and the interior plastics, it's like, it's dark like this color, but the carpet that I got, that I could swear was the color that was in this car, that light gray, you know, the mats don't match, they're darker, and that spray dye doesn't match, even though I got it from Hawks and it was supposed to be for this car. Was that just a thing? Maybe I just don't remember. Or was this stuff like two-tone? Like this stuff was kind of the darker gray compared to the carpet. I don't know. It kind of works out because now it actually matches the 4th gen seats like freaking perfectly. And this stuff eventually, I'm sure with the sun, it might start coming off again. I'm gonna get just a pre-cut kit. I think Hawk sells that too, where you could just stick new carpet or it's like felt on there. That'll probably match a little better, but for now, this will work. Ugh. It's gonna take a little stepping on to get them to morph to the shape of the carpet. Having a flat floorboard definitely helps with those sitting correctly. Just the passenger side with where the cat's supposed to be, the floor is like horrible. So it's just like a hill and a dip. It came with some for the back as well, even though I don't know when the hell you would ever need these. So who is gonna sit back here? Also, riddle me this. Why is it that these cars have an ashtray in the back seat? Now I know this is a thing they did with a lot of cars, specifically, you know, with giant 4-door cars. But who is going to be able to fit back here other than a child and smoke? I mean, at the very least, it's going to be extra sound deadening. Now, I don't smoke. I don't have kids. And as far as I know, I don't have kids that smoke. So let's install some cup holders. So check it out. I picked these up off of Etsy. Relatively cheap. I think they were like 30, maybe 40 bucks. 3D printed. And they're gonna bolt up right to where the factory ashtray is and give us some nice giant American cup holders right behind the seats. Yep. I'm serious about this one. Oh, God. Man. Take that out of there. Now, I don't know if these screws are gonna be long enough. Something tells me probably not. Wow, that's kind of a long ass screw. But let's see. Now I know this isn't the most, you know, ideal spot to put some cup holders, but when you have nothing, this is going to be huge. And it's similar to the setup that my Saturn Astra had when I got it, or when I had it. That car had, you know, the bench seat in the back, and it had a pull-out cup holder right here, so you'd slide it out and you'd have two right in the middle. And that's what I got used to using, because that car had none in the front either. So I think this is gonna work just fine. Dude, if I was like 6 feet shorter, this really isn't a bad place to be. With everything all fresh and new now. But that's bolted up. The original screws did fit, by the way. But dude, the back seat's still totally usable. The seat might hit it if I go to fold it down. I'm too worried about that. Incredible. Ugh. Oh, dude, that's totally usable. That's so freaking close. Yes, that's got to be like the best setup yet. I've also seen some where they kind of go across this and they hang right here, but that's going to kind of get in the way of your leg, and I didn't really like the way it looked. I think this is the best option. Well, I got my giant ass cup here. Let's see how this does. You know, that'll work. It's a little floppy, but when you have an actual like cup from a restaurant in here with a smaller base, it'll slot right down into there. But you know what? I'm happy. That'll actually work. As long as I'm not like freaking flying around corners. All right, so we are pretty much there with this. I did get that piece of trim. It just came in the mail yesterday. So we're gonna pop that on the passenger side. But I gotta pull the car back out of here, and we still gotta make the holes for the seatbelts. I have one more accessory that I'm really excited to get in this car, and that is this peach. So this is a T-top bag. I got this on eBay for 35 bucks. That is a friggin' steal for one of these, especially an OEM one. It had the Velcro, which I wanted, and a lot of people are asking 100 to 120 bucks for these, you know, a little bit cleaner, but they'll be all kind of ripped out from around the bag here, and you could get reproductions. I think Hawk sells them. The Classic Industries might have them. They want around, I think they're between 180 to 250 bucks, somewhere in that area, which is ridiculous. So I found this pretty cheap. Needs a little bit of a cleaning. It's filled with turds, so we should probably get them out of there. I got to do something with the straps too, because it is missing one of the hooks and straps. It has to slip into there to secure it in the back of the car. But I got some stuff over Amazon. I think it's gonna work. I had to look back on the camera footage and kind of guesstimated where it was compared to the other hole, and I managed to get it. So we get those two belts in. I'm gonna pull these seats out real quick on the bottom so I can poke the rear belts. So I went and picked up these new belt covers with like all the rest of the other interior stuff that's just kind of been sitting in storage for years. So these are gonna go on the front belts. The backs don't get any, but I am missing one of the buttons for one of the rear belts. Not like it matters. Like I don't even really need to put these in. Nobody's ever gonna sit back there. But just for like symmetry and everything being where it's supposed to be. I do want to install these. You can see they also look really crappy and like they're brown and discolored. So I'm gonna just throw these in now for the sake of getting this video done. I did find replacement buttons on eBay because these are all like chalky and gross anyway. So at some point I'm gonna pull these out, spray these with the spray dye, and then I'll replace all the buttons. Wow, this thing cleaned up real nice. Just having it sit in the sun. It's nice and like flexible again. And there we go, fixed. Hopefully that fits over the hook, being these are flat. But worst case, I guess I could get a different hook. That's absolutely perfect. For $35, man, this thing cleaned up real good. So I'm assuming we're gonna want the official logo facing the back of the car. So these guys are gonna hook under here. Which, by the way, these hooks definitely need a paint job. I'll probably do that when I tackle the seatbelt latches. Oh, it's close, but it works. Oh yeah, that's it. Sweet. There's a little flap that goes in between these. This is a pain in the dick. I don't think I'm going to use this very often. It's pretty much just for show. Alright. Is that it? I guess? The flap doesn't even close. Is it supposed to close? Yes, that thing's really stupid, and I don't see myself ever using it. So I'm glad I only paid $35. I also gotta pop these guys back on. The little covers for the vents, I have them. I just gotta get glue to stick them in. All right, let's see. I upgraded. Instead of giving the car a cassette player, got a CD player. That was kind of weird. Yes! Alright, it works. Yes! tap shift stopped working for some reason. I don't really know why. I can do it with the shifter. Traffic. Dude, this car is friggin' incredible. I've said it before, and I think I'm gonna have to confirm it. I think I like this more than my Camaro. Now the Camaro is an entirely different thing, but the decisions I made when building this car, like keeping the factory springs, not only factory, like the original factory springs that are almost 40 years old, it just rides like completely stock, you know? It's not like a pain in the ass to drive. It feels nice. The 6L80 is incredible. It still really, really needs a tune. The Tach is working. Even with no timing and a half-ass tune, this car is gonna be quick. Once it's all said and done, it's gonna friggin' move. Cock blocked by a Tesla. Dude, this thing handles like, for original springs, original saggy 40-year-old springs, like just putting a set of adjustable shocks, those conies in there set all the way to firm, like, this car's perfect exactly how it is. I wouldn't change a thing when it comes to handling. Come on. The tires are giving up, but it's staying flat. What more can you ask for in a 40-year-old car? Alright guys, and there we have it. The Trans Am has a frigging interior again. And I gotta say, I am more than thrilled with the way it came out. And I'm also really thrilled that the T-tops have not ruined it yet. It's been a few weeks since I finished this, and it has been sitting outside. We had a few rainstorms. The carpet, everything is still dry, which I'm really happy about. And just the way everything came out, like the door panels that we custom made, the steering wheel to use with the tap shift, even though it's aftermarket, it still just fits the interior really well. And for anybody who's wondering, that's a 4th gen radio that I did end up putting in it. But next up, I do want to figure out why that tap shift isn't working, and I really would have liked to get some more footage of me ripping on this thing, but while I was editing, I noticed I have no freaking brake lights. So these two aren't working, only the high mount's working. I checked the bulbs, they're fine. I gotta kind of dig more into it. I don't know how long it's been that way, but I have kind of been driving this thing. I also have a state inspection that, well, now it's gone, but The last time this thing was inspected was in 2021 when I pulled it off the road for the engine swap. So between that and the brake lights, I'm not really trying to get pulled over. So once I get that stuff taken care of, I'm probably going to work on getting the air conditioning hooked up, and then you guys will see more of this car, because we do need to finish the tune and actually see what power it's going to make, how much faster it's going to be compared to the small block that was in this car. Because you guys remember, before I did the swap, I did a little draggy test, and I think the original small block had a 0-60 of about 8 seconds, 9 seconds. We're going to cut that in half easily. So I'm really waiting to get this thing on the road fully tuned where it's supposed to be and see what that number's going to be.